Why are iron farms always so ugly? Well, today they're not, because we're going to be turning this floating iron farm that sticks out like a sore thumb in your survival world into this awesome iron tower that completely covers the fact that there's an iron farm in there. And really, it's not that hard to build. All it is a tower with some details around it, so pretty much anyone can do it. So first things first, this is not a tutorial on how to build an iron farm, because there's plenty of those out there. The iron farm that I will be using for this project is actually the Shulkercraft iron farm. It gets about 300 iron ingots per hour, which isn't too bad, and it's easily expandable, so in my survival world, I have 2 of these. I will make sure to throw a link to that video down in the description, so you guys can go build that, and then we can get into making it actually look pretty. First things first, here is the blocks you're gonna need for this build. If you need to pause it so you can actually see what everything is, go ahead and do so. So the first thing we wanna do here is we wanna go directly to this corner of the walls, and just use some temporary blocks and bring down a pillar from the top. All this is gonna be used for is to make your life a little bit easier when it comes to building the tower. If we take a step over to the finished farm, you'll see that there's 2 different types of blocks in the tower. We have mud bricks and we have packed mud. Now I did this for texturing reasons just because when you have 2 different blocks going together that kind of match, man, that was a mouthful, it can look pretty good. And you can use pretty much any blocks you want. So next up, we're gonna come down to these dirt pillars and we're gonna place a block here and here. And then we're gonna carry this all the way over to the other dirt pillar and place a block here. We don't wanna place any blocks in the corner. Hello there, Mr. Kitty. Now next up, we wanna take these walls 11 blocks high, including the one that's already there. So we're gonna add another 10 blocks onto it. So we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got a post built on each side going 11 blocks up, and then I closed it off. And now I'm just gonna fill in all the blocks in between. Well, I have 1 wall completely finished, and now we want to move on to doing this on the other 3 sides. Remember, we want it 11 blocks tall, including the blocks already placed on the bottom. If your farm is already completely working before you start this build, then you're going to run into an issue like this while building it. Iron golems can only spawn on full blocks like these, and so now that we're introducing more blocks like this, the golems can spawn on it. But don't worry, we're going to fix that. Now the next thing we want to do is actually take some fence posts and just place them on these top 3 blocks. And we're going to do that on each corner. Following that, you want to take your oak stairs and you want to place one on this end, and every other block you place 1 oak stair, just like this. And we also want to do this on the other 3 sides. So at this point, we should have the base of the tower and the beginnings to the top portion. Now, if we come to the corner, we want to take our mud bricks and packed mud, and we want to place 1 block on top of that corner stair, 1 block on top of this fence, and 1 block on top of the other corner stair. And then we want to take the blocks and continue them over the top of these stairs, which should leave us with something a little bit like this, besides the fact that you want to do it on the other 3 sides. So once again, 1 block on this stair, 1 block on the fence, and 1 block on this stair. And what that is giving us is a little bit of a rounded look, which makes the building not look like it's a giant standing rectangle, because that's what we're trying to avoid. Now from this point, we want to add 4 more blocks on top of the blocks we already placed. So in total, this post should be 5 blocks high, which it is. I'm going to come to this side, place another post in, and then just place a little border on it. And we want to fill in all the blocks in between. And we want to do the same thing around the rest of the border. Once that is complete, we want to place a block on this corner right here, and then skip a block and place another, and keep doing that throughout the entire top of the build. So it should end up looking a little bit something like this, and make sure not to place any blocks on the corners. Next up, we want to take our mud brick walls and place one in between these gaps, a little bit like this. Now for the corners, we're going to place a wall right there and 1 more on top of it, and on top of that, 1 fence post, and we're going to do that on all 4 corners. Once that is complete, we want to take some stairs and place them on top of these full blocks. So a little bit like this. And oh man, is that iron golem going crazy right now. Well, with the stairs placed in, for the most part, the top is complete. Now, if you really wanted to, you could just leave the iron farm like this. But if you want to do some more, I got some cool things to show you guys, such as placing in some windows, adding some hanging leaves, and also a balcony off the top. But do keep in mind, when you're building all of this stuff, it needs to be covered with either a trapdoor, a carpet, or just something that isn't a full block, or else the iron golems will be spawning, not in the killing chamber. So when it comes to adding in the windows, we just want to come up to this front face right here, and let's get rid of a block right there and a block right there, and then also a block right there and a block right there. This gap is 2 blocks up from the bottom, and this one is 5 blocks up. In these gaps, let's place some iron bars. It doesn't have to be iron bars, it can be glass panes or even fence posts. So then a cool little trick to add a little awning is place a slab directly above the window frame, then take some trapdoors and place 1 on the bottom of the top block and 1 on the top of the bottom block. And we can do this on both sides, and it gives us a nice little rounded awning. And then if we come down to this this one, we can add another cool little trick. We got the slab here and the trapdoors right there. But instead of repeating this on this side, we're just gonna place a trapdoor on the bottom of the top block and then a fence post beneath it. And then you can take your lantern and now it gives you a little bit of light. And now if we really wanted to, we can actually go around the outside of the build and start adding this in throughout all of the walls. Just remember, do not place a full block or else the iron golem can spawn on it. Now the next bit of detail we can add in is a little balcony. How we're gonna do this is we wanna come up right into the center of the top portion of the build, and we're just gonna get rid of these 2 blocks, which will act as a doorway. Next up, you wanna take your mud brick stairs and place one right there and one right there. In between that gap, let's put a slab and then add one more layer of slabs like that. We can do our cool little trick like the awnings down below and place a slab in the middle and then some trapdoors on the sides. Then take your fence post and go around the outside so you won't fall off. Now do keep in mind, an iron golem can spawn on that block. So the best thing you can do is add in a carpet like that. When you're up here, it does stand out a good amount, but when you're down below, you won't even notice it. Now, if we're standing on the balcony and you want to add one more cool bit of detail, you can actually get rid of this block right here and place an upside down stair like that. Then take your door and place it in. And now we have a nice little balcony. And you know, let's place a lantern right there just to add some light. Next up, we're going to add in some hanging leaves. And the best way to do this is just take a trapdoor and place it on the top of a block, leaving you a full block to work with. Then you can take your leaves, place one on top of that, and then just slowly hang them down the side. Never have them go in a straight line like that just because it doesn't look super good. So usually I'll just angle them like this. And to make it look a little bit more realistic, I'll add some leaves to this side and I'll have them kind of curve their way down. Yeah, maybe too many leaves. That should be good right there. I'm gonna add another one on the corner right here, and then I'm gonna go around the rest of the build adding some more leaves in, just because it adds that little bit of detail that looks so awesome. Now, if you're not going for the overgrown look, then you don't have to do this. One of the last cool details you can add is a little bit of a crane hanging off the side. I really like doing stuff like this just because it adds a little bit of life to the build. It makes it look like something is actually going on here. So to build this, find a side that you want to build it on, come to the middle of this wall right here, so 2 blocks down from the top and 3 blocks in from the side, and we want this to be 4 blocks long. At the end of this beam, we're gonna add a stair like so, and then we're also gonna add in a stair right there and right there. Now, if we come underneath these, we can place a stair like that, which gives us a nice little angle down. Take some fences and place one right there, and one right there, and then one on the spruce log 1 block in from the stair. Now we can place a chain like that, and then place some chains underneath this fence post, and we're just gonna go 4 or 5 blocks down. At the bottom of this, you can take some iron blocks, and we're just gonna make another beam that is 5 blocks long. Now do keep in mind, iron golems can spawn on this, so we're just gonna take some white carpet and cover it up. And then on these 2 blocks up here, we're just gonna place some trapdoors, just to add a little bit more depth to the build. Now, if you want to, you can add in a little iron pile down at the bottom, or a few of them, just to make it look like the iron is being stored right here. But besides that, the build is pretty much complete. I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and also I hope it helps you out with your world, because man, doing something like this can make your iron farm look so much better. And especially with the new update, you can actually put iron farms so much closer in your villages, so it won't mess with your trading villagers. You guys let me know what you want to see next, whether it's this nice little cozy starter house, or this unique little archery range, or anything that you guys have in mind. But besides that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.